Mark in the count. The swing arm now coming back as our countdown continues.
Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Sorry for the delay, but we are here and we are finally live. Welcome to the Brick Something News. I am joined today by a couple of good friends. You can see them all over here. That's kind of what took a little longer. I was setting this up, realizing I'm usually set up for like one host or two hosts. And then I was like, wait, where's everybody else? So I had to do some tech stuff. And then Oz was busy doing his hair. So
yeah.
So thank you, folks, for joining us today. Check it out. They got four awesome co-hosts today. We'll start over here. We got John Mejia, Emerald Knight Photos. What's going on, John? We've got Oz, Stradamus Toys, Oz down there, one half of Ozbrick. We've got Joe G Customs, Joe Gonzalez up there, and we've got Mega J Retro, MJR, all here today to talk about Legions Con. What's up, guys?
What is up, brother?
Thrilled to be here.
Hell yes.
Same here.
Surrounded. You good, Jay? Jay's there. Can you hear me, Jay? Jay? Maybe not. Uh-oh.
He's concentrating.
Can you hear?
Yep.
Oh, okay, good. Cool.
Okay.
All right. So we are all here because as people have been watching my sort of lead up to Legions Con, this is going to be my first time going. And it's also your guys' first time going to Legions Con, which is awesome. And it's also going to be my first time meeting all these guys in real life, because I've been like hanging out with these guys a lot online for like a good 2 years now or so, depending. And wow, we're actually, fun fact, this guy and I we're in the same room for the Sacramento Mythic meetup. And
I was standing actually right behind Brick while he was taking a picture of himself with Walter Hagen. And had no idea who he was because I only knew him from the chat. So yeah.
So wait, you're probably in that selfie somewhere. I gotta go find that. You're probably
behind? No, I was on the other side.
Oh, okay.
I was
gotcha.
Yeah, I was behind you. Yeah. Well, Walter was behind the table. So that was a funny one.
So yeah, it's gonna be cool for us to all be in the same space at Legions Con this year. I actually wanted to kind of start that way, if you don't mind, and we'll kind of just go here and go around. What's your sort of like familiarity with Legions? You know, just because folks are going to Legions Con doesn't necessarily mean like the biggest Legions collectors, but just kind of want to get a sense of like maybe like what's your familiarity with Four Horsemen stuff? Are you a collector of the stuff? And yeah, just in general, where you at with Mythic Legions / Four Horsemen stuff and Legions Con? John, how about you?
Oh, okay. Pretty much, I kind of not relatively new. I think maybe like a good year and a half. I think I've been into Four Horsemen after finding out about them and kind of understanding the history with them. Kind of did like a reverse engineering type of kind of fandom. I saw some documentaries on Motu, because Motu's always been one of my biggest. You know, it's my favorite, right? It's my go-to. That and G.I. Joe. And then I was watching documentaries and hearing about the Four Horsemen, hearing about how they did classics, how they did the 2000X, and kind of just like, and I've been hearing Four Horsemen in our conversations and stuff, but hadn't really looked it up. And then when I did, okay, so these guys are tied to Motu, so they have a history with that, and their stuff looks amazing. I mean, nice. You know, mythic and cosmic. I just fully am embracing it, love what they do. And I think for them, it's like one of those things where it's just like these other kind of independents where they are making stuff that's just like kind of never been seen before for the most part. Yeah. So it's like, it's a lot like they're not, making another Batman or Superman figure or anything like that. It's that they're actually making just, like new stuff, new characters. So.
And you are Emerald Knight Photos and you're a photographer. So they worked their way into a lot of your work as well, right? Your photography work.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think they're some of the most photogenic figures out there. So, I mean, yeah, they just makes us, I really don't have to do anything. I mean, the figures can do, they do everything themselves. I mean, nice. You just point a camera at them and they look great.
Love it. Cool. So you're finally going to get to your first Legions Con. How about you,
Yep.
Oz?
So I think, well, Brick, you were there
Yeah.
when me falling in love with the Four Horsemen, not fully realizing exactly. I knew who they were, but didn't
Mhm.
quite really get into their more modern line up until I got the Headless Horseman. And, I still to this day blame Sean for that. And I love him to
Varna.
death for it. Got me
Uh-huh.
started down this whole thing. And, then I realized more and more as I was collecting more and more of their stuff, just how much the Four Horsemen have followed me through my years of toy collecting.
Mhm.
From the early McFarlane stuff that they were doing before they were even the Four Horsemen through 2000X. And then, I didn't know about classics when it happened, but when I saw it after the fact, I was like, oh, wow, I missed out big time. And then like getting into their more current lines, I'm like, man, these guys have influenced my entire life.
Yep.
When it came to art and, what kind of sculpts I like on toys and everything. So it's going to be really cool to finally go to a convention that's all about them. I did get to, meet Corn Boy and meet Jeremy and all when we went to PowerCon last year. But this is like that more intimate setting, and these guys are kind of like the rock stars of toy making right now. So, I'm all about it. I'm super excited. Plus, again, I mean, yeah, I met John last year. I met Jay last year, but now I get to meet you. I get to meet Joe. And like you said, just hang out with everybody all in one space. And that's going to be a really momentous event in my life, I think, because we all hang out like weekly and stuff like that, doing the streams and all. So it's going to be great to actually get that in person.
100%. Love it. Joe, you're familiar with Mythic Legions, I think.
Yeah, so I'm what you would call the biggest Mythic Legions fan. So
yeah.
So for me, it started way back. I collected Toy Fair magazine, and when they were doing the Seventh Kingdom line, I'm a huge D&D fan player. I've been playing since I was 15 to current day, and I saw the elephants in Toy Fair magazine, and the comic shop that I got my D&D books from, I asked the owner about them, and he's like, I've actually got some coming in. And I bought Ramathor from him, and I was just like, oh, it was amazing, just like the best figure. And so it started with that, and then I got out of it for a long time, wife and kids and all that kind of stuff. And then I decided to get back into collecting them, and then I went through eBay to try and get the Seventh Kingdom figures that I hadn't got, and I saw Gothotropolis, and I was like, these are amazing. So I bought all the Gothotropolis and all the wings, and then about that time, through my searches for those other Four Horsemen products, when I do a search for Four Horsemen, it was the first wave of Mythic Legions, and I saw those and I was like, oh my God, they're not D&D figures, but they're the D&D figures. The first one I saw was the Gold Knight. And, I'm like a Paladin fan in D&D. And I was just like, oh, it's like a divine moment, So I've been all in on Mythic Legions from the beginning. And then Cosmic Legions started, and I was like, well, these are amazing. I'm going to get all of those too. And then Figure Obscura. And I was like, well, these are amazing. I'm going to get all of those too. So yeah, I'm what you call a completist, I guess. But yeah,
I guess that's amazing. I love it, man.
Right. And then I joined the Cabal in 2019. At the time, the only real Legions content on YouTube was Israel Ramirez. As the Adam Power channel, so I was watching him, and then he brought up Mythic Customs on his channel. So I jumped over, saw Jeremy. Jeremy talked about the Cabal. I joined the Cabal. I've made a ton of good friends, like people that I would consider genuine, real friends that I've never met in real life, from between 2019 and now. And, can't wait to meet so many of these people in person and finally get to shake some hands and, you know, really have some real in-person reactions to people that I've cultivated these relationships with. So it's pretty awesome.
That's awesome, man. That's what's up. Absolutely. And you're going to be in this space where you're all there for the same reason. You all love this thing, and that's really cool.
This is also my first convention ever. I've never been to a convention before.
Whoa.
So, you know, so it's going to be, it's going to be heavy duty. I'm really,
and I feel like they should have like big banners for you when you walk in. Congrats, Joe. Well done.
Yeah. You left your house. Here's a cookie. Yeah. You know, so
I kind of live more time and money. I'd make the big "Yay, Joe made it" banner.
Well, I live in the middle of nowhere, Nevada, you know, so there's like really nothing close. And I've always had a family and kids to take care of and stuff. So I always prioritize that over things like traveling and stuff like that.
Sure.
But this is the anniversary, the 25 Horsemen 10. And I was like, if I'm going to do it, this has got to be the year that I do it. So you're right.
Good choice. Good man. Mega J Retro. What's up, man? What's your take on sort of Mythic Legions, Four Horsemen? What's your familiarity and stuff?
So you know what? It's an interesting situation with my overall take on the Four Horsemen. First of all, huge respect and of course admiration for the Four Horsemen. I've been a fan of Masters of the Universe forever and a day, much like John and Oz and all of us really. Like and obviously Four Horsemen is one of the reasons why Masters of the Universe has come back in such a big way. I mean, from the 2000X line, right, to the Classics line, to Super 7, and so many different iterations that they've been able to recreate in their own vision in many ways. It's just been an incredible take on the series as a whole. And then when they started, but they've been doing other things too, like first of all the crossovers with DC, right, and then they've done other huge projects for multiple different smaller independent companies as well. So it's been this huge amazing journey that they've taken over the years, and congratulations to them. I believe this is their 25th anniversary, right? So huge milestone for the Horsemen. And of course this Legions Con is going to be my first. In terms of like Cosmic and Mythic Legions, I always admired them from afar. I've always wanted to get into them, but I just can't. I'm on like 25, 67, 120 different lines as it is. I mean, I've literally spent myself out of the market. So I just can't get into another line. And I'm literally relying on my credits from Entertainment Earth to fuel my habit. Because again, you're in between jobs or whatever. But when I first played around with my first Mythic Legions, thanks to Titan Toys, good friends of the channel here, I was enthralled by the customization, the detail, just the amazing nature of the figures themselves. And I really do wish I could get into them. Like, I can see why people are really, really, really invested in Mythic Legions. I mean, like I said, customization wise, you don't have to be a customizer. You can just be a kit basher. The whole line is just kit bash, and you can make some amazing figures just by the way they are. And then you have other, customizers and creators making capes, see Jessam, you know what I mean? Like absolutely crazy stuff that has just come along because they were inspired by the Mythic, by the Four Horsemen. Absolutely bonkers. So I've heard rumor of this amazing convention from years ago, and what I've always said, one day I should go. But you know what? That one day never came. But due to certain circumstances that happened recently, because I actually had no intention of going this year. I'd already been to San Diego. I'd already been to Legion, to Joe Fest. I was pretty much conned out. I went to Fan Expo. So for me, I've been pretty much conned out. But things happened, and I need to be there. So it's important for me to be there. And I think. Now I'm going to be able to see all you guys. I'm going to be able to meet you, Breck. I'm going to be able to meet Joe, reunite with Oz and with John. and buy John a fucking pizza because that guy.
you owe him a pizza? Is that what it is?
Well, I'm hoping we don't wait outside for like 2 hours.
Well,
again.
that's true.
Oh my
That's
god.
true, yeah. Yep.
Well, we will definitely get into your special reasons for being, and I'm really glad that you're going on multiple levels. So we'll definitely get into that, Mega J. And yeah, even if you're not, and I wanted for people to hear that context, because I think people can go even if they've never, handled a Mythic Legions figure, and I think there's going to be plenty there to be inspired by and get into. So. Anyway, with that said, let's go ahead and say hello to everybody else who has joined us today. Oz, I just want to bring this up for the record. Not my fault. It's his, as usual. What's up, Thanos? Thank you for the help, man. Great to see you. Thanos will be helping as he does every week with the show. The show couldn't work without him. He'll be dropping in the links, and I'll explain that in a little bit. We got Larry's Geeky World here. Hello to you, sir. Ray Paz, what's going on, Ray? Nolan is here, so we can get started. Adam mentioned this on his stream. I was on there earlier, and he said it was a missed opportunity for you not to title this stream 40-year-old virgins.
I'm not 40 yet, though. I'm not 40 yet.
Oh,
that's
right.
I'm 40 yet. I'd knock us out of that club.
That's why I didn't do it. Virgins to Legion Con, by the way. Just don't get it. But,
yeah, I was going to say, don't tell my kids that.
Solo Sinner, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for popping over here, too, after Adam's stream. We were all hanging out over there talking AWOC. Speaking of which, what's up, Brian? Endless Fables, good to see you. It is a five-some tonight, Dora Laxon. I had to make some adjustments in StreamYard to make proper space for everybody. Take in spirit, you will be there, Alpha Magnus. You'll be there. And in spirit, you'll also be in an awesome cosplay in my mind. Dave's Dimension is here. Hello to you, sir. Derek Hoover is here. Yep. Let's see. Payne's Relaxation Journey. Hey, kids, on his other account. What's going on, Aaron? Would have never guessed it was you. Allison Troy, Retro Toy Princess is here. Yay, we're still summer children. And hey, here's this other guy. He's back. Frankie Rivera is here. Hello. Thank you so much for hanging out today. Lunchbox Killer 805. Is that the 805 area code? We talking what? Santa Barbara, Goleta? Where you at? Ventura. Let's see. And Derek Chandler is here. Hello there, sir. Looking forward to hanging out with him. A lot of time with that guy at the Spiro Toys table. And on you 83. Hello. Paul Morales. Hello, sir. Destination Stone. Good evening to you. Christopher Negri. Hello. Oh, awesome. See, this is great. Yes, thank you. And please let us know that you're going to be heading out there as well. Please stop by. We'll let you know throughout the show where everybody's going to be. Definitely want to say hello to everybody. Let's see. Gady's Toys. Hello, Andrew. Great to see you. And this is great. Hello, everybody. Harry O. What? I thought I was the only one not going to Legions. No, there's a lot of folks who are not going to Legions Con. And as we've said, this is a first for us. So it'll happen someday. Rick Jones. Hello there, sir. Hope everything's good with you on South Bay. Let's see. Shelf Presence. Hey. What's going on, Shelf Presence? And I think that's it. So hello to everybody. Heck yeah, Ventura County. What's up? Sorry, UCSB guy over here. Okay, so we are all going to Legions Con for the first time, as I said. Let's go ahead and get the show started today. Wait, never mind. Pause. Brian Brink is here, guys. Let's say hello to Brian Brink. He will be there as well, helping at the Crashbox Custom Table. What's going on, Brian? Appreciate you so much. And Mark R. as well. Hello. And Dora Laxon has a question for Brian. Please, answer the man, Brian.
Making all the charts.
Okay. So every week we do this thing here on the Break Something channel called the news. It doesn't really stand for the news because, like, I don't know. I can't do the actual timely news stuff, but it's for needless ephemery we saw. It's basically like, hey, let me get a bunch of nerds or maybe one other nerd. Let's talk about the nerdy geeky things that we saw that inspired us, caught our attention this week. And of course, today we're all talking about Legion's Con since that's where our brains are at. But at the bottom there, we're going to be looking at a bunch of stuff. I want people to go check out these things that we see and, follow them as well. So if you go to that link down there after the show is done streaming, the links will be updated bit.ly/bricksomethingnews, capital B, capital S, capital news. If you're here in the live stream, Thanos, my friend, will be dropping them in the live chat if you want to check that stuff out too. So, all right. With that said, let's talk Legion's Con. Hopefully I did this properly, guys. Let's see. Ready? What are we laughing at?
Highlight Thanos' comment.
We're going to set a funding goal.
Funding goals for Joe's spending, and Brian can make the chart.
I think the chart will be out of control. Just a hunch. So
I was gonna say, is there a budget? How are you handling that?
Lots of debt.
That's a bad question. That's a question we don't ask.
Well, no, I'm not opposed to answering it. I set a certain amount of money aside for Legion's Con with the intent of being responsible. I know that I am weak-willed, and when I get there, that the budget won't last. I'm sure of it. So, of course, the convention exclusives are the number one thing that I'm looking forward to, but man, there's a lot of cool stuff there. So they say a battle plan never survives first contact. I don't think my wallet's going to survive the first cable. So.
Right.
Accurate.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about all the things that will be there. As I and Jay mentioned, that this is a big anniversary year. So definitely for us guys, congratulations. Our first Legion's Con is actually a really big one, as you pointed out, Joe. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a huge year for the studio. 25 years as a studio making toys, and 10 years with their flagship Mythic Legions line. If folks aren't super familiar, it's out in Whippany, New Jersey, not too far from where the studio is at. There's a series of events. So they're calling it Mythic Week because starting on Thursday, they're going to be doing Intern for a Day. And I was lucky enough to win the raffle for that. So I'll be there kind of checking out the studio on Thursday, meeting the Horsemen. They're giving us a tour of that. And if you want more info on that, check out last week's episode where the Four Horsemen's studio photographer Trevor Williams was on the show, and we talked a little bit about that. Then on Friday is G-Con. So Friday, that's the day when they're going to reveal the next full wave of Mythic Legions figures, and there's a lot of chatter around what that can be, and we'll get to that in a second. And then Saturday and Sunday, November 9th and 10th is the show proper. So the show is going to have a ton of folks there, and this is the sort of layout of where everyone's going to be. And since I'm here, let's go ahead and do this. So I know that Jay, you're going to be table 83 at the Renders Effects table. Is that right? That's where you're going to be.
Yes. Yeah, there might be a little bit of rearranging. We're not 100% sure. Jeremy's doing a little bit at last minute fixes, but essentially I should be there. I think that but if I'm not, I am going to be in the hallway. That's the plan. So.
But you definitely will be at the Renders Effects table, which we'll be talking about, which is awesome. I will be hanging out here at the Spiro tables. And then where else is everybody gonna be? Joe?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. It will be here, over here, over here. And John will be around here.
I'll be prowling like a hungry panther around Legion's Con. So
and so they're going to have a bunch of different things. So they're going to be selling exclusive figures each day. And we'll take a look at those in a second. There's one figure on Saturday, one figure on Sunday, and they're doing this new thing that I know people in this group have been excited about, called the Armory Experience. So we're going to do a little bit of talking about that today, and we'll try and give you a sense of what these guys are most excited about doing and seeing at the con. So we'll just go ahead and get into it. And and if you were wondering, there's going to be a QR code down there too. If you want to use that for the links, if you're watching this later, let me just do that. Okay. So then let's get into the show proper. Let's start off with, I think it was John who said you were most excited about the Legion's Armory experience, right? You want to break that down a little bit for the folks who maybe are a little unfamiliar, and we can all help if you need it.
Yeah, because I'm still kind of everything's kind of still a little fuzzy, but apparently they're gonna have this Armory experience where you can go in there and get a ticket for 2 figures, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can basically kit bash, make your own type of knight, and out of 2, with these different variations of sculpts and colors. And when they announced this, now I think I think they had the figures out there, some of them like on a table at a convention a few months ago, right?
Yeah, they had two of the knight builds at IshCon, and they didn't say what they were. It was whole new color format. They just kind of had them on the table, and that was it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think so. You have to get in line to get the ticket, right? And then there's another line to get with your ticket to go into the armory to build your knight, right? Or
the breakdown of it is in the morning they're going to be handing out tickets. At least last I knew, they were handing out tickets in the morning. Each attendee is 1 ticket per day.
Okay.
The 1 ticket equals 2 figures.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're going to be doing is they will call numbers throughout the day. So like whatever's on the ticket, they're going to call it throughout the day because they want to avoid lines for the armory experience. So that way
it's like picking up legions at a deli. So
right.
There you go.
That's exactly it. You're going to be picking these guys up like you're at a deli. They're going to call the numbers throughout the day. So that way you don't have to specifically wait in this line all day. But you can go around, look at some other stuff, and do some other shopping, and then just come back when you hear your ticket being called.
And they're going to be what, like 30 or 35, 40, I think, right?
45.
45, yeah.
So
45,
for 2, it'll be
45.
90.
Finish that thought. 45
each. So it'll be 90 for the 2. The 2 figures you can build. Plus they announced recently the barbarian bare chest, arms, and leg pieces. Those will be $10 for the set.
Yeah.
And no limit on the amount you can purchase.
No limits.
So
I want all of those. So
yeah, I was gonna say, you're the completist. This must be both a nightmare and a fun challenge to you, man.
This is the completest nightmare, but a fun nightmare,
Joe, just remember, you will be able to save some money because you don't have to get every build, because they're going to do 10 figures next year that are the Armory Experience Knights.
Yeah. Oh, I've already went through a fine-tooth comb. Just if anybody's wondering, none of the cloth arms and legs that are available at the Armory Experience will be available in the 10 that are going to be available for sale beginning of next year. So.
Right. They won't have
And I've already kind of gone through and already made my choice of the 2 knights. If I'm able to get into the armory, what 2 knights I want to make. Obviously, I want to get an Emerald Knight. I mean, that's just right. I mean, that's just like, I mean, when I saw it, I was like, I appreciate the the tribute figures. So, I mean, to me, that was that's so awesome that they did this for the 25th anniversary.
Well done,
and then also like a leather black, silver and black, basically, because I'm a Raiders fan. So it's I kill like something like that. Like in that kind of build, except with the pointed the silver, the gunmetal pointed head. Gotcha. So but yeah, that's pretty much, that'll be my homage to the Raiders, and then the homage to myself, Emerald Knight.
Love it. Well, that's really cool. And so basically it's a build a figure experience. It's the first time doing it. You can kind of see, I've been walking you through sort of the steps. There's a bunch of different pieces, and then as you mentioned, Joe, that they just, it was just last week where they mentioned
a few days ago, I think.
A few days ago,
2 or 3 days ago,
They've also got these sort of bare chested, bare arm and bare thigh pieces that they're going to be selling for as little sets for $10 on top of your armory piece, and they apparently have a lot of them. So they're,
There's no limit, right?
There's no limit.
Yeah, they
limit
said
on
no
these.
limit.
No
That
limit.
that
No limit.
hurt my budget right there. So no
Yeah.
limit.
Yeah.
You can't say
Yeah.
words like that to me.
I mean, for the cost of a whole nother figure, you could basically almost get 4 figures. So
Yeah.
I mean, that
that's,
part's for them, sure.
you know,
So real
Oh,
quick, the
man.
other folks who haven't gotten to speak on it, any thoughts on this before we move on? The whole armory experience thing, is it something you're going for?
I'm fascinated by this whole concept. I mean, like,
Mhm.
there's one of the things with conventions, a lot of conventions, is that there are run of the mill things that you do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You go get your exclusives. You go get your, you go around the show floor. You do some shopping. You meet your friends. But a lot of times there's stuff that you kind of like. Again, every convention is the same.
Yep.
Having something like this, these activities that they're involving the community with, that's amazing, right? And of course, you're basically kit bashing your own. Once again, kit bashing your own unique figure, and it's an amazing opportunity. So yeah, bravo to these guys. That's great.
And I think
Yeah,
Jeremy had mentioned too that he was trying to equate this. I mean, or kind of like doing an analogy of like Disneyland, right? I mean, having these kind of like theme park attractions that you can go and
Yes.
experience at a convention. I saw on his Facebook post about that, so I thought, yeah, that kind of that
Yeah.
it is going to be feeling like going to Disneyland or Disney. World,
Yeah,
kind of.
it's funny. I'm a bit of a Disney nerd, but yeah, it's the whole like build a
Yeah.
saber experience. But then it's
Yep.
also like the way you kind of wait for your turn is like the I forgot the not lightning lane, but there's like this system where you go in for newer
Yeah.
rides where you sign on and they'll tell you like when your boarding group is, and so it's interesting and it's a lot of logistics. I hope it works out well and it doesn't feel
Yeah.
too, because they don't want people standing in line all day for them. So I like the idea that they're going to call you up in batches. I hope that everybody who wants to do it, gets to do it. So yeah, it's a fast pass as
Yeah.
Terrence says.
Pace, I think.
I mean, I think for me, I mean, Friday night, I guess once I finish with the lobby and the pub and everything, I'm just going to go walk over, and just start getting in line because I'm actually staying at the hotel. So I'm just going to go over there. I actually even thought about buying like one of those little portable stools that you can kind of just like pop open like that. And that way I can just
sit wherever.
And just like go ahead and just, I feel like I'm not going to sleep Friday going into Saturday. I'm going to try and get in line for the,
what's sleep?
Yeah.
So Adam, highly articulated, was there last year, and just so you know, here's your the bar is there. So
Oh man, yeah, that's
just so you know.
Yeah,
I'm in the fortunate position of having all the released figures already, so that's one thing. Hopefully, I can avoid that kind of like buying a new car level of toy purchasing.
That is wild. But if you're interested in this stuff, again, Jeremy did a great post of this stuff where you can kind of see all the different pieces that are there. You'll pick stuff up after sort of like being around, like what Joe was mentioning, that there are going to be versions of these figures being sold, but he was pointing out that these cloth parts will not be a part of those. So, ask around when you're there. And then if you want to plan if you want to plan it out, there was members of the Cabal, which is the sort of like Legion's fandom Facebook group. Kirby put this together and, where you can actually like plan out your figure and, start doing your planning. So, if you're wild, you could just randomize it and do all sorts of things. But anyway, just another example of the creativity and fun that's around this whole convention, this fandom, and it really is pretty fascinating.
And Jeremy did say that you can go to it each day. So if you're attending both days of Legion's Con, you can be a part of the Armory experience on Saturday and Sunday.
There you go. So cool. Let's see. Let's go ahead and move on then, because I know that I think it was John. No, John said this, and then I think other folks said the exclusive figures, of course, right? So there's two different exclusive figures, one for Friday, one for Saturday. I don't know. Who wants to break this? I'll break this down. So these are the two different figures. This is the Saturday figure. It's a 2-pack of the Legend of Gaspar, the Unamused, and Garich, the Unpredictable 2-pack. And if you're familiar with the Legion sort of community and the people involved at the studio, this is actually a tribute set for two Four Horsemen Studios members, George Gaspar and Chris Garich. It's these two awesome figures. And so as you can see, they really are leaning into the whole pop and swap aspect of this toy line. I feel like that's becoming more and more of a thing, especially this year, as you'll see from the next set as well. But this 2-pack, which is $100, will get you all of these pieces that you can then switch in and switch out. Fun fact, the extra parts that we're talking about, the barbarian body parts that they're making, are actually matched to this skin tone. So they're
pretty close. Yeah, pretty close. Trevor said they're not quite, but it's close enough.
Oh, okay. I thought they were like, for some reason, had like an overproduced something. But you can see all the different things here. And then on the cosmic side of things,
they will be re-releasing this later on, but the dwarf parts are con exclusive.
Exclusive for that set, right?
Yeah. Thank you for that. You're right. They always do re-release a version of their Legions Con packs, but then missing some exclusive piece. So you're saying the legs here?
I think the legs and the dwarf head,
and this head.
Yeah, I think it's both dwarf pieces are the con exclusives.
So if you're at the con, or someone going to the con and you want all this set, this is what you're getting. And then there will be the cosmic side on Sunday, and that's this set, which is actually what is the title? The full title is and if you can see it here, The Amazing Alien and Creature Creator. Because if you're an old person like myself, there was this old toy back in the day where you could create creatures and monsters and aliens, and it was like this 3-panel thing, and you'd trace it with a crayon and make these creatures. So they're channeling that. Like I said, they're really leaning into the pop and swap features of their toys this year. And so this is the 2-pack with like this wild set of parts. Anyway, I'll open up to you guys. Thoughts on these 2-packs? Anybody?
So naturally, of course, for me, I want the half-orc set, because the Saturday set, it's 2 half-orcs. They throw in the extra parts here, of course, to make one of them a dwarf as well. I got to get this set. There's so many great parts involved in this set, and especially like the Yagwalian pieces, because I don't have any Yagwalians yet. So like I'm kind of like really leaning in for that for my Blade Master. Love that Kabuki makeup on it too. It just looks so cool. But then even on the Cosmic Legion side of things, right? Like the creature, the CC, which is the more alien looking one. Like that one's totally like a nod to Predator. You can see it. Like, it is. And I love that purple color. I don't know if I want to fork out for both though, because that would be quite huge, but I want that red vampire head. I want again, the single Predator. Now the vampire head on this set I know is con exclusive, so that won't be available in the retail version later. And I think it's also the purple domed head will not be available later. I think those are the 2 heads that they're going to be taking out of this one. I didn't hear of any other parts that would be missing though.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get both of them. And from people I've talked to, they pretty much said like, it shouldn't be a stressful situation to try and get both these each day. I mean, I think last year, the Waltor exclusive, you can just walk up there like on a Sunday and just walk up there and pick it up. I mean, it's only any line. Yeah. So I'm hoping, that these, it won't be too much of a headache to try and get these. But I'm definitely, I already have budget set aside to pick up one of each of these. So I think I like the one on the left there with the purple and red. I mean, that's just that has. But I love more human looking aliens, or even just human looking figures. And then on the Saturday set, that black haired I'm gonna butcher the name, Adamon. that is just like I saw that, like I gotta get it for that. I mean, I just have to.
Right.
And then just loads of extras, and it's just love the color of the green, because green's my favorite color on that one. So definitely singing to me, but I'm definitely gonna get both of these.
Yeah, isn't it a trip how like and you're talking about these like the figures themselves, like, oh, those are cool figures, but people are like, I want this part, I want this piece, I want this piece.
Yeah.
And so it's super smart on their part to approach it this way. And like folks have been echoing what you're saying, that there's no problem getting the exclusives. Adam's saying last year they were extra exclusive and the limits were lifted pretty early. Terrence, I brought this up earlier, that there's really no problem. So in fact, most of the folks that have been doing like Legions Con coverage have been real good about saying like, yeah, really don't feel like you need to rush to the Four Horsemen table first. There's so many other, like all the other vendors and everything to check out first. But they're going to have plenty of stuff. So cool. Anybody else? Any thoughts on these, or shall we move on?
Of course, I've budgeted for 2 of each, and I don't know if I can stay to that because I mean, just look at the parts.
I'm keeping track.
I mean, just look at the parts on each of them. There's so many different, just pop and swap customs, you know, that I could generate with just these parts. So it's a pretty fantastic set. I'm going to try to stick to 2, but we'll see. No promises.
Yeah, one thing I always have to say about Mythic Legions is the added value they bring. I mean, like look at all these accessories and of course especially with their weapons packs that they've released, like just the overall detail and you know nods to other franchises. And I think that's really what it is. The homage figures that they've done over the years, whether it's Master Universe or Predator or you know figures which really as fans you sort of like, wow, I think I see what they've done there, right? You know what I mean? They walk that very fine line of copyright, but at the end of the day, it's a fun thing that they really love to do, and it's great. It shows in their overall fun nature of how they produce things. And like I said, look at all these heads, look at all these attachments. It's staggering. It's just absolutely staggering, and it's really good value for your money at the end of the day.
And I will say one thing, and I've kind of learned this from going to PowerCon and going to Joe Fest, is to I'm going to stock up on baggies. I'm bringing baggies because I'm not going to be able, because I'm sure these are going to be big boxes, and I'm gonna have to just leave them. I'm gonna have to leave them at the hotel. So I'm gonna be stacking plenty, be packing all my accessories, everything in these little baggies here, and shoving them in my suitcase because I won't be able, as much as I'm gonna get or try to get at Legions Con. I'm gonna have to. Some stuff's gonna have to.
The boxes are tough.
Right? Yeah, they are, especially for the exclusives. Yeah, if I can fit them in, I might, but I'm definitely opening these up. You know, Sunday night in my hotel room, just trying to play with them.
They're playing with toys all weekend.
Pretty much, yeah.
Saturday, well, they are coming stacked, and Ray was asking those accessory packs, how do they fit on the other toy lines? I mean, as far as like weapons and stuff, the hands, you know, they'll fit in hands, no problem. But things like this backpack does have sort of a special attachment on the back that you'd have to do some
a little more proprietary, right?
Yeah, but then if you get to like, you know, the robes are obviously, or if it's not obvious, will work. So, you know, there's that.
And they did like spell packs and stuff like that too, and those are pretty universal. And like any other kind of other accessory packs are pretty universal. But yeah, when it comes to anything that's going to attach to the body or like the hands and stuff like that, that tends to be a little bit more proprietary.
Who's getting the tail? Is it for both figures or is it just one specific?
That's one of the Blade Master heads. So like that's more for that other build.
I think all the figures are coming out with boom boom holes now, though. So
you can put that
there's a hole in the
body.
Back of the pelvis where you can plug the tail in. So
cool. Yeah, look, Wraith Mace is awesome. It's gonna be great to see Wraith Mace there. There's other folks who have been dropping on the Legend series is gonna be there. So it's gonna be great. And please, like, don't be shy. Say hello. Doak was saying my biggest disappointment of canceling my Legions Con trip is missing the garbage 2-pack. Hey, for real, like, just reach out to me and we'll see what we can do, or reach out to other folks. Don't worry about that. Do
not pay no Evil Bay price. That's not
Jeremy always does a sale after the con for the exclusives. So before it was always on Legion Shop, he closed down Legion Shop, so if I don't know if
Right.
that's where it's going to be, but he did say he is going to do the sale again this year, which it's slightly more than the con price plus shipping, but it's still going to be a better deal than what you're going to pay on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
don't
reach
get
out to
butchered.
other
Yeah.
folks in the community.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Right.
Okay, so that's that stuff. So we've done the armory experience, the exclusive figures. There's this thing that is gonna be launching. So this has been something that's been in the making for a long time now. There was a software developer who reached out to the studio and they said we want to develop a game called. Yeah, has it been about 3 years now?
Yeah.
Mythic Legion's Tactics that was a Kickstarter back in the day, and I know Joe, you're really excited about this because
Absolutely.
the alpha is going to coincide with the con. So
Yes.
yeah, why don't you share any thoughts on this or things that
they're actually going to have the alpha available to try out at the con. The studio will. I know it does seem like it's been a while, but I think for video game development that it's a pretty normal cycle.
Sure.
Kickstarter for a video game, there's a lot of things to do, but they've been showing clips. They just finished a lot of the color adjustment and stuff, so things are starting to look right. They are going to, even if you're not a big video game fan, one of the features that is really exciting for Legion's fan, we talk about the pop and swap. They're going to have, as part of the game, the character creator for the game uses all official Legion's parts. So you're going to be able to basically do like a virtual pop and swap to create your own characters and try different colors on them and things like that. I did see, I think it was this morning, they just added the Dwarven race to it. So dwarves will be available also in that. So that's going to be one of the exciting features too. I like video games and I like strategic games like this. So it's a strategy game, but I think what I'm most excited about is it's going to expand the lore for Mythic Legions. Like this is an official storyline that's included in the game. So I think it's worth checking out just for the added lore that they're going to be bringing to the series. So,
and
absolutely.
For the fans that got them, make sure you bring your challenge coins. These may come in useful at the pub after the convention.
Oh, okay. Nice, I thought this was related to.
It was from the Kickstarter from the game was the coins. So bring your challenge coins.
Very cool. But yeah, and I think at the end of the day, you know, like we all grew up getting into toys largely because of Saturday morning cartoons, or like there was always a comic book or something that was tied to. And so this is kind of an interesting development, right? To hopefully this is a game that catches on for like folks who are just into fantasy games or like the sort of like battle strategy tactics type players. So, and it's going to be available on like Steam. And do you know what all the platforms are? I think it's iOS and.
So it's Steam. It's PC. They did a deal with to be on Xbox. It's going to be on mobile platforms eventually. I think that's coming a little later, but
right.
Those are the three major ones, and covers a lot of bases really: PC, Xbox, and mobile. So
no, good.
You have a lot of ways to play. Yeah.
And I can imagine just getting stuck in the customization, like creating your own character and stuff.
I already do that with other games like Elder Scrolls. So this.
I do it with the figures, and this is just going to cut down on so much time, you know.
Right.
Just being able to switch through them quickly rather than actually taking the figures and holding them next to each other to see how the colors match up. So it'll be fun.
I'm always interested in lore, and you know the snippets that they have at the back of each of the boxes, the sides of the boxes are always really cool to read about. But it's going to be really neat to see some cutscenes, and maybe some story sequences, because I really would like to see when you reach a checkpoint, you know, how each of the characters interacts with each other, and what new lore and what new storylines they can make out of this. Because again, it's one of those dreams for every IP. to get a video game. So wow, they've come an
Right.
incredibly long way in the 25 years that this has been brewing, right? So
Yeah.
well, I guess it would be more like 13 or 14 years, but still, just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's gonna be great, and I don't know, it just worked out this way that it's gonna fall on the Legions Con that's on the 10th anniversary of the toy line. So I think it's gonna be good. There's like a lot of cool things to celebrate at this con. Let's go ahead and see what else. This one is not like this one's an interesting one. This is this other thing that will be happening there. 1,000 Swigs. Oz, you want to explain this for the folks? What is 1,000 Swigs about?
All right. So, as people know, like earlier, well, when they were doing the ordering for Swigs, they managed to order 1,000 extra Swigs. And you don't know how those kind of mix-ups can happen, but a decimal point or something got swapped somewhere. And so Jeremy wrote a story about, Swig is the potion master, and he drank a potion that cloned himself 1,000 times. And that's kind of like the official story. Well, Terrence St. John started campaigning pretty early on that, hey, it'd be cool if we actually kind of turn this into a real event. And everybody brought a swig to Legion's Con, and just get 1,000. And like he was saying, just a swig. He wasn't even mentioning just about all the different customs, but one of the big things amongst the Legion's community is the customizations. And Terrence had mentioned like he's drinking these different potions and it's changing them, and that brings the customization factor to this figure. So we may get up to 1,000 custom swigs, but even if everybody's just bringing one swig, boxed, unboxed, you can have a mint on card swig as a variant, but just getting 1,000 swigs together for a photo shoot. And he was kind of campaigning about it, and it ended up being worked into the official schedule through some talks with Jeremy, which is another great thing. So it's going to be Sunday at 11 a.m., I believe. There's a specific room. Everybody will be gathering. There's going to be swigs of all different shapes, sizes, builds. Some are going to be actual toys. Some are not going to be toys. Some are going to be more than toys. So it's going to be really, really cool. Yeah, I got my swig ready to go, sitting off the side so I can pack him in my bag. He's going to be like my pocket toy for the week. So
yeah. So like to your point earlier, Jay, about the sort of like massive fandom that's surrounding what the Four Horsemen do in their lines. This is a perfect example where they turn like a production oopsie of overprinting too many figures into then it becomes a little tiny nugget of lore, and then someone like Terrence and other folks who are helping him out like turn it into this whole thing that really has energized the fandom. There
even before Terrence came up with this wonderful idea of getting 1,000 swigs together, Jeremy's story at the end of his story, King Noglin sends the swigs out to spy on all the other factions.
Right.
And so I was planning already. I was doing customs of the spy swigs. I have all the figures. I have them organized by faction. I was going to have one swig in every faction as a spy. So I had already started customizing them just for that. And then when Terrence came up with that great idea, it was like, yeah, I can be a part of that. Yeah,
this is one of yours, Joe.
My first one's right there. Yeah.
So like now people are like taken to making these customs of this figure, and people are going to bring as many as they can to the show, and it's just kind of this fun sort of like side quest, if you will, on your mythic Legions collecting journey. So
except for Joe, he said he's only bringing one.
And we all understand he's clearly going to be bringing home a lot, so he needs a space. Hey, real quick, Frostbite's GI Joe Repro sent in this sent in this super chat, $2. I don't know, is the A Australia maybe?
Yeah, $2 Australian.
There you go. Good day, boys. I hope your week is looking good. Thank you so much to whoever you shared the super chat with. That's awesome, and appreciate you stopping by.
Definitely appreciate it, brother.
Yep.
So yeah, and anyway, this is just another cool thing, and yet another example of how awesome the Legion's community can be. And he's really Terrence and company have really been sort of like turning this into a whole event. They've been out hunting for him. It's been in the press. It's been all over the monthly Mythos news. All these updates, and it's fun stuff. So as toys should be. So that's
right.
Yet
Play
another
with your
cool thing.
toys.
Now, here's something a little more on the official side. And we mentioned earlier in the start, Friday before Legions Con is G-Con, where they reveal the next wave of Mythic Legions. And Four Horsemen put this out as the first sort of real hint at what this wave is going to be about. First, the image, of course, by Nate Barch. And then this fun, cryptic, teasing little tale. In the first age of the realm, armies of nightmarish soldiers marched across Mythos, set upon the total destruction of all that stood in their path. Here's your lore, Jay. The great mother, Selene, refused to allow her home to be destroyed or her children to be slaughtered. Calling upon her powers, she brought forth 4 mighty warriors to stand against the evil that Helios had wrought. These warriors would come to be called the Great Beasts, and Selene created each of them specifically to match the horrors of the evil generals called the Dark Four. That's kind of like your brief intro to really the start of everything in Mythos. There were 2 gods. Selene created the world and all the beings. Helios got jealous, created these 4 horrors, which are essentially the 4 horsemen, to wreak havoc on the world. And then so she sends forth the forces of good, inspired and led by these 4 great beasts. And the 4 great beasts really break down to kind of the factions. So, you'll see that these are specifically the heroic factions. I'll call out the army of Laodiceus, who are one of their great beasts is essentially a lion. The Order of Aetheron, an eagle. And we've got Zylona's flock, the stag, the deer, and the convocation of Basilia, essentially basilisk. Is that right?
A winged serpent is what
serpent,
they say she is. So.
There you go. Oh, a winged serpent. So that's all we really have. Like, we know that essentially the wave will be centered around that part of the lore and it's going to be called, I should have said this, the Reign of the Beasts. So what are folks hearing and thinking and wanting to see? I know it's going to be hard. We could do a whole show about this, but we could just do a go around. Whoever's interested. What do you hope to see?
I hope to see. Thanos mentioned it. See them more beastly. That's what I'm hoping for. Is like if it's Laodiceus, that he's actually a massive. Because after seeing the bear in last year's reveal. I want to see more of that kind of stuff. I would love to see, a giant lion, even if he has a crown, on his head and, has all that Eric Treadaway flair, but something like that. I think out of all of them, Basilia would probably have me the most excited to see what they decide. I'd love to see like a Quetzalcoatl style, South American dragon.
Yeah.
Even though Zylona as like a centaur stag would be like the first female centaur would be pretty exciting too. There's so many things they could do. I'm swooning. Oof.
Yeah, no, totally. It's funny. And you mentioned Zylona. It's probably, before we continue to hear what other folks say, it's probably good to note that they actually have released 2 of these great beasts before. But they were done in, so to, I guess to more Danos's point, they were done more in a kind of like a standard Mythic Legion's body, at least in the case of Zylona. And so she stands basically just as tall as, she's a little bit taller because of her neck, but that's what they call a 2.0 body, right? The first female buck. And then they also did Aetheron. And this was based on that earlier toy line that you had mentioned earlier, Joe. So it's based on an older toy line.
Yeah.
Yep. And you can kind of see it there with some Legions figures. So when we hear Thanos, I'm assuming when he says more beasts, like maybe larger, do you think? And like really different from the rest of the figs? Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and like for Aetheron, it would be an exciting one if it was a giant eagle, right? And he's the crowned eagle, so they'd have a head with a crown on it. But then an alternate head that's just a normal eagle head, if you wanted to do like a Lord of the Rings Saved by the Giant Eagles army build, I'd love to see something like that where it's just a giant eagle, but with some options to give me an excuse to buy more than one,
Right. What about you all? Any other thoughts?
I don't. I mean, the obvious is, are they gonna reveal a dragon and stuff? I mean, that's kind of like that's been like the elephant in the room, so to speak. But for me, I think Thanos also had in the chat. He said maybe they do both. Maybe have a humanoid form, so they do like maybe a creature like, and then also have some sort of like human like.
Almost like a 2-pack kind of.
Right. Yeah. Like here's this like animal form, and then here it is more in the human form. But yeah, I mean, I have no idea. Only thing that stinks for me is that I will be traveling Friday, so I'm gonna be having to catch the stream because they stream GCon's from 10 a.m. till 4 or 5, right?
I think 4.
It's a full day.
Yeah. So and then that's pretty much me traveling because I think my flight leaves at 11 here, so I'll be catching it on the ride to the airport, on the airplane, getting my bags on the way to the hotel. So I'll just be on my phone the whole time trying to see what they're gonna come out with. But that's what I love about these reveals, because it's like it gets everyone guessing, gets everyone kind of excited, and at the end of the day, it's whatever. It's all kind of original IPs essentially.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've never looked at any of these reveals. I can look at them and say, you know what, it's not really for me, but they look great. I mean, but I just wave after wave, I'm kind of like, well, that one looks good. That one I'll pick up. That one, but there's nothing really for me to sit there and go, oh, that's terrible. No, because it's all original. It's kind of hard for me to really criticize it, because it's like that's a really original thought, creativity put into these figures, and that's what I love about the Horsemen and Mythic Legions and Cosmic.
I will say, Rick, I agree. Like the idea of like great beast is a big name to live up to, and so when you say like Reign of the Beasts, but before I go on that, Oz, Jay, I don't know, do you thoughts?
Yeah,
I've
specifically been holding this back from previous conversations this weekend, just so that I had something to add different to the news. Because we all know I started doing this journey talking about Legions Con on Friday with Let's Go Off-World. Then we were talking about it last night. Specifically held this back for the news. So we know, like, over the last several waves, it's kind of been the Rise of the Dark Four, which is also the name of the book that Jeremy's been writing. So now if we're moving into the Reign of the Beasts, because now we've had all of the Dark Four, like Necronominus is on the water, basically. Like that wave is coming over, basically.
Yep.
So what if they announce, because Jeremy mentioned a lot about extra surprises and everybody's been talking the toys. What if they announce the book finally getting to print for the Rise of the Dark Four as we enter the Reign of the Beasts? And what a year to do it on the 10-year anniversary, since everybody has been wanting the damn book. Okay, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people have really been wanting the book and the extra lore.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, we may get that little bit of an extra surprise. And I'm hoping they don't just put all the great beasts out at once. Like, we had Ilithia's Brood wave, we had Poxus wave, we had Necronominus. Like each of the Dark Four had like a wave dedicated to them, and typically their opposing faction. So I really, really hope that they kind of pace out the next several waves, kind of doing similar again with the Great Beasts. I want them to make it last. I don't want them to just dump all four at once.
Yep. And to answer Nolan's question, so it is like just in the interest of trying to put more lore out there. They have been working on an actual book. They've called out, if you've ever gotten a chance to see the Harry Potter sort of illustrated versions that they've been putting out as sort of like in this more prestige format. They sell them at like Targets or whatever, but it's like lots of illustrations and text. That's what they're shooting for. So
actually, I thought he meant, what is this a book? As far as like, what is this like? What's a book now?
Oh no,
What's a book?
What's this, a book? But there's been lots of thoughts folks are putting out here. Like, I hope that the lion is a four-legged creature.
Even mounts with riders would be cool to kind of echo what they did, you know. Like a lion with Leodicius, the deity, riding it would be pretty slick too.
Yeah, like an equivalent kind of mount. Nods to He-Man.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Did you have any thoughts on it, Jay?
I keep thinking, you know what? Every time I hear of lions and lion heads and things like that, I always think of like, something like a berserk character, from the anime. This bringer of death. You know what I mean? Like a harbinger of
the black swordsman,
absolute horror, right? And just a precursor to the end of the world. You know what I mean? That kind of concept. So it's cool.
Cool, man. Yeah, and you have hey Steph, a female beast brute. Yeah, there's all sorts of different thoughts. I would love to see that, and I think that's the thing, at least that I've been thinking about, is we're in this weird moment right now with toys in general, right? There's all sorts of toy makers out there, and it feels like things keep getting like ramped up and ratcheted up. And so we know Four Horsemen make amazing toys. This story around the beast is going to be so central to this world that they've created, right? We know that these are like foundational creatures, deities, whatever they are. And so I guess like I'm thinking, like, while these were cool back in the day, and they did these pretty early on, right? Like I said, they were largely built on the same sort of bodies and same size. I guess I am leaning towards them making these kind of more special, I get, or more standout on the shelf, right? Like they wouldn't get lost if you had a bunch of their like members of the Xylonis flock around them. Like it'd be real easy still to see them. So whether that's scale or just some other thing, and that's why I just really. Well, go for it, Joe.
I will say I have the three members of the Dark Four that have been released so far on their mounts, all on a shelf together, and it draws your eye to it.
It's true, because of the horse, right? Yep.
They're on the horse, the wings, the different unique aspects of each one. When Xylona and Aetheron were released, because I think Aetheron's dozen was actually technically the second wave.
It was the second release,
super early on. They're a smaller company. They're trying to reuse their molds and things like that. Thankfully, the success that they've had now, they're able to tool a lot more new parts.
Yep. Oh,
I think we may have lost you. Oh, there he is. He's back.
There he is.
Okay, because I've been dropping. There have been a couple shows where I've dropped. I was like, oh no, is this happening again? Sorry, Joe, you were saying?
Yeah. So I just think that reuse of tooling isn't, they want to reuse their tooling, but it's not a driving thought when they're designing things now, because they've finally gotten to that point where the line is big enough that they'll design a tool and then like the bear. Yeah, they'll probably use it for something later on, but I don't think that's the driving force behind new tooling. So I could definitely see us getting something that we really don't expect, or you might think, well, what the heck are they going to reuse that on?
Look, I just want to say, while it's up on screen here again too, I want to thank Four Horsemen Studios for making the most awesome homage figure possible by creating this bear. And, it really, really warms my heart that you all would do that for me. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah. Well, again, I think just the idea of like what Joe was saying, they're not in the same place they were when they were making these things, right, as a company. So, and they just released this last year or in the last G-Con.
Announced
This past Cosmic Legions, announced it. Yeah, and this past Cosmic Legions, and the last couple Cosmic Legions, they've been adding things in there like the skate backs and the accessories. So they're clearly exploring things and doing new things. And I feel like it's their anniversary year. Hey, the Great Beasts, let's do something special. So I'm with you, Joe. If they at least are like the sort of size and I guess visual,
right?
You know, like as big as the riders, the Four Horsemen and their steeds. And I guess I just wanted to say, like, as again, we're in this era where things like this are existing, and they know this. Like Four Horsemen, like this is by Cyber. This is from Cyberzoic, Creative Beast Studios, who, like the Four Horsemen, have welcomed into Legions Con every year, and this was shown there. So like they know, they're toy fans too, and they love seeing this stuff. There's a couple of things from Star Art Toys right now, like these giant Cthulhu's, which are like 11-inch tall, or like we don't need to see that right now, but there's another one that's a little bit taller than 11 inches. So like these are things that are out there now. And when I think of, like, I'll just keep showing more without really talking more about them, but just to give you a sense of, like, these are all things that we've seen on this show before. But like the Four Horsemen, like they do great stuff, right? So that they're well aware of sort of where the game has gone. So I'm have no doubt that whatever they show us on Friday is going to be fantastic, right? Like, so this is the kind of stuff that people now have as an option pretty soon. So I'm sure the Horsemen are like, oh yeah, well, you know, hold my beer or whatever, right?
Right.
Check this out. Like, because as you pointed out to me before, Joe, when Jeremy has been sort of talking about this upcoming G-Con, that he said that this would get the attention not just of Four Horsemen fans and Mythic Legions fans, but the entire industry. And so, given that context, I'm fully expecting something amazing. So
and I've got to say that every previous reveal, I can't remember a reveal where I didn't see a figure that I was like, oh man, that's cool,
right?
You know, so I'll be one of those people in the room going, whoa, you know, with everybody else though.
You're going to say this instead. Oh, look at all that money I'm going to spend.
I never think that far ahead. That's tomorrow Joe's problem.
Right. I have my nerdgasm in the car on the ride up to Legions Con. I'm going to have, you know, it's going to be crazy, but I can't imagine.
I'm sure, again, whatever they show us will definitely be catching the attention of all toy fans. They did it remember last year was like a bear, and I'm seeing people who don't normally talk about Mythic Legions all of a sudden talking about that bear figure on their streams, and because it just got a lot of attention. I'm assuming it's going to be something like that.
When they showed the bear standing next to a troll, and it's slightly taller than a troll.
Yeah,
you're going. I was just like, whoa!
Homage.
It's not just a bear figure; it's the bear figure. You know,
right? And you measure it up.
That. Well, just gonna say they do that a lot to us. You know, where it's not just a knight or item. Eric Treadaway has a way to design things. Their painters are. The paint is really something special with Mythic Legions. I think I notice colored plastic a lot more these days. Looking at other lines of toys, after being a big Horseman fan, the paint is done so well, and the factories do such a good job of paint matching those amazing prototypes that even things that are completely made of new characters that are complete reuse parts look like a new character because the paint is so well done. So
I'm only thinking also for photography. Once that bear gets released, oh my gosh, he's gonna be everywhere. I mean, he's gonna be chasing GI Joes. He's gonna be chasing a Mezco Conan. He's gonna be chasing chasing after Ellie and Joel. The 5K toys. I mean, he's gonna be everywhere in photography photos.
And the other thing about that too is, like, just recently we saw that GI Joe announcement with that new classified Snake Eyes that's coming with a polar bear. And I'm sorry, like this completely puts that polar bear to shame, like seeing how big that measures up to that Snake Eyes. And then it's like I go look at that bear where a 6-inch figure is riding it, looking incredibly small. Whereas like if you put that Snake Eyes figure on that bear, that he's coming with, and it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. That's not a
Well,
polar bear.
yeah.
It's a polar bear
And-
cub.
And I think they're going to try to one up that bear. I really do.
Yeah,
with
I think so
whatever
too.
whatever
Right.
the reveal is. Yeah.
Like my head
That's kind of where
exploded
I was
last
leaning.
year.
Yeah, that's where I was leaning to as well. It's like they're consistently doing that. They're constantly sort of stepping it up. So anyway, that's kind of the main Legion's Con, I guess, like central stuff, whether it's from Four Horsemen, of course, the 1000 Swigs, which is a massive sort of like groundswell fan event. But then of course there's like a ton of exhibitors and vendors. And I kind of just asked you guys before we started, knowing that it's going to be so hard to cover everything, just what were some things that you wanted to mention? So I'm going to pull those up now, just like some of the ones that were thrown out there, and we'll just kind of look at what folks are excited about.
AWOC.
Oh, what are you saying? Sounds familiar, but
What's
but Detour Custom, Steph Delatour, right? I know that I've shared his stuff before on the stream, but I know other folks want to talk about it. What are folks interested about? What am I trying to say? What do you want to see from Steph? What do you like? You want to look at, or what are you excited about?
The bike.
Yeah, right here.
That one. Yep.
Like really perfect to go with the Cosmic Legions, and they need like some little vehicles like this, right? Like, it's cool. We've got mounts and horses with Mythic Legions and all, but like, we got the one skate back. Now we've seen that the what is it called? The Highland skate back, because there was the Lowland skate back. The Highland skate back is going to be the one that's kind of like a mount.
Bungee.
But like this, this is just something like, again, I know I was kind of hoping they would announce a vehicle with the last Cosmic Legions wave, and this is super exciting to see, because I want to see some more stuff like this.
For those unfamiliar, so this is Steph Delatour, one of many brilliant customizers who then started creating his own accessories and effects pieces and a bunch of other things, and is now going to be bringing this like fully, from the ground up designed and printed vehicle essentially for Cosmic Legions figures. So I don't know. I think it's rad. It totally reminds me of some of the some of my favorite Motu stuff, right? Like that kind of like the jet sled or sky sled, or just like like the smaller little vehicles, or
maybe
like
something like from Halo, like a ghost from Halo.
Yeah, the ghost from Halo is what it reminds me of. But then like also with that kind of like cone-ish shaped front, like that kind of oval, I want to paint one in red. Maybe slap a couple stickers on it.
Is there a reference? Is there something in particular that you're
Akira?
That's what I was gonna say. Is it Akira's bike? Yeah, have him do the spin.
Yeah.
What do you think of this, Jay? Jay, I know that what do you think? Like, this is where we're at now, where there's like existing toys, and then people can full on make vehicles that and just sort of add on to these.
Yeah, the kit bashing and creating your own customs is the heart of this whole community, right? So no, this you just mentioned Akira, and I was like, God damn. Yeah, I can't unsee it now, right? But Akira with armaments, you know what I mean? Just
right.
Great. It's awesome, and I love the fact that the community, is getting into it too. And one of the great things about the horses too is they don't really stifle creativity. You know what I mean? Because every other IP out there, they tell you don't do that, right? Don't play in our yard. You know what I mean? Like, this is our IP. You're not allowed to touch it, right?
Sending out them C&Ds super fast.
Exactly. But instead, the Four Horsemen embrace this whole community aspect of that, right? They're not afraid. And as a matter of fact, this Legion's Con is all about customizers. It's all about people creating new heads and creating new arms and new weapons and new cloth and it's crazy. I've never seen any other company, basically allow their entire community to do whatever they want, really. Right. But it really has given a different perspective on how you can run a business, You know, I mean, maybe there's enough room out there for. I mean, how much money could one small company really make without going like mass market? You know what I mean? And in a lot of ways, it inspires other artists and other creators to do better.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, like Renders FX, his whole dream was being here at Legion's Con. You know, he wanted to be part of this, you know, community as a customizer, as a sculptor, as someone who could actually create a brand new figure from scratch.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what, we should all aspire to things like that. I don't know.
Definitely
agree.
Yeah, one thing, Brick, I think when Trevor was on the show, and I think y'all, mentioned Detour Customs and that bike in general, and for me, like I don't 3D print, I don't paint, I don't do any kind of real hardcore custom work with that. But there's so many people. This community is so awesome that you can meet somebody or you know somebody that does that at the con. I'll go buy that and just give it to them, going, hey, can you paint this for me? I'll pay you. I'll pay shipping. take it home take it home with you, and you know, just paint it up and then ship it back to me. And I'm already going to do that. I mean, one of my Dimitri Killzone and on our GOC crew, he's going to do that. I'm going to just, you know, if I can get it, he said, hey, I offer to paint it up and just ship it back to you. So that's what's great about, because I mean, and meeting, you know, coming here and meeting all these creative people and seeing all this custom work, and you know, again, you know, if you don't have the means to do it yourself, I mean, there's ways of kind of getting it done, and I think that's what's so great about it.
Love it.
And Steph is the nicest guy, and I actually have a lot of his part. I've bought quite a few of his parts from Legion Shop and his personal site, and the quality is top notch. That bike is actually not resin. It's I forget what the plastic printers are called, but it's actually more durable.
ABS.
Yeah, I forget the actual name, but it's more durable than like just the resin, like what most of the heads and stuff are printed from. So you don't have to worry about, you know, slipping and dropping it on the table and having it explode into a million pieces. So, but I gotta say, those thrones with the flames, that's another one. I would love to get one of those. The Gorgo, the version 2 Gorgo sitting on that would look so good.
That would look
so good. Yep.
Yeah. See, I love it because, you know, like Mythic Legions, Four Horsemen, they're busy. They're making figures. They know what they want to do, and it creates a space for others to like help build the world out, right? And just like, you know, love it.
Absolutely
cool. That's Steph Delatour. Let's see. Who else we got? Oh, Carver Customs. There's another one that folks said that they wanted to check out. What are folks interested in checking out Carver stuff?
Well, his torches are actually, I guess, technically official because Trevor uses them in his photos, like the actual official photos for the Legions line. So a lot of diorama pieces. He's doing dioramas this year, which are look at that. That is so
those
good.
That looks amazing
with his torches on there with those sconces. Like, I mean, it doesn't get much better than Carver Customs when it comes. You can't get a better like torch sconce, you know, kind of lantern like style lighting out there. Like his are top notch, hands down the best. I know. Again, Jesse, you know, from Just Shelve It, he's the guy who introduced me to most of. Sean got me into it, and then watching Jesse's Just Shelve It is like introduced to so many of these artists. And Brick, you've continued it too. Just seeing all these things and the amazing artistry that's behind all of it.
Absolutely.
It's phenomenal. I absolutely love those torches.
Yeah, it's amazing. I actually got this from it's a 3-piece dial from Legions last year. Toymarth Anthony got it for me, and I actually became a patron of Carver Customs because I just like, dude, your stuff's amazing, man. So I support him how I can. I bought, you know, dios and accessories, so I can't wait to actually meet him in person and buy some, you know, have him take more money from me because it's like his stuff's so great. It's like if it's oh my gosh, that the one bot? Well, actually, I do have a Charbot. I actually bought one of those and had it painted. So that you know, again,
for those who aren't familiar, these are Carver created. That's not that, but created a sort of like little robot for Cosmic Legions with a bunch of different parts that you can combine, called the Car 71 Char 71 bot. So again, people
I actually won one on Legions, ladies. I get to pick it up for free at the con. Yeah,
nice.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, talented folks for sure.
Yeah, definitely want to get some torches. I'm gonna get some of those. So
right.
I just the dios. I mean, I gotta kind of temper that. I will have some folks that are Night Terrors, who's my co-host on Geeked Out Click. He's in Jersey, so he's gonna be just he's just a hop, skip, and jump away. So I maybe send him home with some stuff so he can just ship back to me.
Right, but, ship it very carefully.
Yes, yeah. I don't want to try and risk any of that stuff going in my suitcase because
right,
I would be severely upset if I had one of Carver's customs or anybody else's dios just squashed and just destroyed.
Yeah, I'd feel like I desecrated a museum piece if trying to haul something like that in a suitcase. Couldn't do it.
All right, let's see what else some of the other folks. Oh yeah, that's right. Oz, I think you want to make sure that we talked about Defenders of Eden / Ideas from Mars.
Right. Matthew Rodriguez, Matt Rod, for those that know him a little bit more personally, he's just his whole company, Ideas from Mars. He's been working on Defenders of Eden since the He-Man.org forums, right? Like it used to be called Defenders of Eternia and then became Defenders of Eden as it more became its own thing. And then he finally got the Kickstarter out for Armies of Ashmore. It got backed and funded. I love dinosaurs. Like, I'm so glad he started with the dinosaurs. Their scale is going to be massive. He wants these dinosaurs to be huge, to be impressive. He calls this like his brute scale because they are going to be just huge. And Milliwick or Dickneck, whatever you want to call them. Just, like these are amazing. Absolutely amazing. Maybe later. No, but just the freaking absolutely amazing sculpts, and being able to see, at PowerCon last year was able to see most of these, but they weren't painted. But actually this year being able to see in person these full paint apps, and it's going to be great to see these. And I can't wait to see Matt again himself. He's just a outstanding guy, insanely creative, and really cool, down to earth dude, just easy to talk to. So yeah,
and these were designed by the Horsemen. So
right, their sculpts, the bodies, the engineering behind it. I mean, mind you, this is not going to be one of the finalized products you can buy. This particular
this
one,
is a custom painted.
Right. Yeah, they sent some blanks out to some of the customizers, that are out there, and got them to kind of show what you could do with their blanks. Yeah. And it's Matt Rod's a great guy, and can't wait to see him again. Can't wait to actually see these all painted up, and it's going to be a good time just hanging out here at his table. Like I said, I'm all about the dinos, and these are just unreal, next level.
Yeah, I got to speak with Matt only on Jay's channel, Mega Jay's. He had him on, and we just happened to be there. And really nice guy, and loved his stuff. I'm in for a couple of these, and can't wait for them to show up. So it's just what Jay was saying earlier in terms of like, yes, there's Legions. Sort of actual action figures, and there's the fans kind of coming up with their own things. You mentioned that Matt was on the He-Man.org and sharing the story, and they were all of it originally based on characters that would be in Eternia. Like, same kind of thing, right? It's like, hey, we love Masters of the Universe. Let's build a world around them. People get creative, and fast forward, here we are now, him with his characters being made by the Four Horsemen. So
yeah, right. And actually, click on that one right there with the little drawn image.
This one?
The thank you.
Yeah,
in the bottom left.
Bottom left there. Thank you. This is actually a tribute figure, or at least name in tribute to the same jerk that got me started down this Four Horsemen path. This is Scavar, which is an homage to Sean Scavarna. And again, he's good friends with Matt Rod and everything. This is one that I really cannot wait to see painted up and in person, because I remember when they announced this and Sean was almost brought to tears last year at Legion's Con by the fact that that's the name of this figure.
Yeah,
and
nice.
Yeah, it just
That's
looks
really
so cool.
Is this Sean's artwork?
Yeah, that's one of Sean's.
Awesome. That's great. That's great.
Yeah,
man, I love it too. I'm excited for these for sure, but there's so much more. Was it you also?
Again, I love dinosaurs. Dinosaurs and creatures. So this is another one I'm going to spend some more time hanging out with the guys at Creative Beast Studios. I know, again, last year at PowerCon we met Chris Chaotic, actually going to John's hotel room. They're just staying in the same hotel. Just happened to meet him right outside randomly, and
there he is.
being able to really spend some more time talking with him and the whole team at Creative Beast Studios, because these things have driven me up a wall since before there was Cyberzoic, with just beasts of the Mesozoic. These things have blown me away, and they keep getting better. Now we've got dragons, we've got beasts of the Ice Age, like going into that time period and all like that, with Smilodon and mammoths and mastodons. I mean, it doesn't, like, it drives that childhood love and passion that I had, growing up in the 80s. Dinosaurs were everywhere and they were larger than life. And Jurassic Park's been cool and all like that, but it's great to really, really see these and just falling in love with this. And then they started doing Cyberzoic, and I was like, oh my gosh, spiritual successor to Dino Riders. Finally, somebody's doing it.
Seems more like Spirit, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, again, just really excited for these. I can't wait to be there. May have to pick up a raptor or something off the table. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to these guys too. Great folks, super talented. Just love to see them keep branching off, as you said, and doing new things. So, all right. And then let's see. What's this guy's? Look, I don't even follow them. What is this?
Right. You're not even following these guys.
Man,
what's going on with that?
Shame on you, man. Shame.
What's an AWOL?
I swear it's a desktop issue. But no, the Spiro Toys table, I'll be hanging out there with Adam from Highly Articulated, with Jason Bienvenue, with Derek and Sequoia. And we're just going to be talking to anyone who wants to listen about this cool toy line. They're currently running this awesome photo contest. Hey, who's that guy? You want to talk a little bit about that real quick, Jason? Because I know Jason. Jason. Slip. But yeah, because you're working with him, and honestly, I didn't know too much about this until just till Friday, and then I actually was able to talk with Jason. He kind of told us a little bit about the story about how this all started. But why did you all end up reaching out to Jason about doing this kind of contest thing?
If I'm being perfectly honest with you, I wasn't the one who reached out.
Okay.
It was actually my good friend Danny Green.
Gotcha.
Okay. He had this great idea along with another good friend of ours, Lead. They basically I'm not really sure 100% who reached out to who. I think that I think Jason sort of got in touch with Waleed, and I think that they just started talking. Okay. I think that's actually what happened. Because I wasn't there. I wasn't actually there, and they just wanted to do something really, really cool with Mythic Legion. Sorry, I want to talk about with AWOC, and the whole AWOC community. And one of the things I think was really integral for this whole concept was that AWOC is so photogenic, just like the Mythic Legions. You know what I mean? Just like all action figures. But I think that a lot of what comes out of these communities is the fact that so many different photographers have just basically taken on the challenge of putting these guys into situations because of the stories behind them, because of the lore. And we've seen some amazing photography from, I don't know if you ever heard of him, but Emerald Knight Photo, and one Computer, and all these crazy guys who just put these things in some cellulite. These days is digital cellulite, but it looks amazing, right? And all the wonderful mythos that's come around, and I think that Jason wanted to see what everyone could do, right? So if you're interested, if you're a photographer or aspiring photographer, if you think you can come up with a wonderful composition, what you want to do is you want to post up a photo of your AWOC figure, and it has to have an Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figure in it. You can mix and match worlds. You can have Animal Warriors of the Kingdom versus Thundercats. You can AWOC versus GI Joe. You can have Star Wars versus AWOC. Which fun fact that doesn't really. Animal Warriors of the Kingdom mixes with everything, so you can go ahead and mix and match as you will, but it has to have Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, and Jason would prefer if it be the 6-inch figures, not the 4-inch figures from the original release. They have to be new photos. They can't be something from your old catalog. So John, no cheating. John's got a lot of back. John's got a whole catalog of this. So, what's it called? It has to be submitted before November 1st through November 15th. Through November 15th. And then there will be a round robin after 16 contests, and 16 contestants will be chosen out of all the entries, and then we're going to go into a round robin situation. So 2 photographers will battle it off in each segment, and they will whittle it down from first round, second round, third round, and then the finalists. There will be a third round matchup and a first and second square off. So and then there will be prizes given out from different tiers, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to see what you guys how creative can you be with the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, and we just want to see what people can come up with. And we had Jason on along with Derek, and we had a great time chatting up with them, and we went through a whole bunch of different photos, seeing what people have done in the past without a contest, and it was just absolutely thrilling to see what everyone had done. We saw some of John's stuff, we saw some of some 1/6 stuff, we saw a whole bunch of stuff from guys here in Canada, from the US, even from places like outside of the US. We've seen a lot of places from South America, and from as far as some places in Europe. So there's a lot of fans out there, and we're really excited to see what you guys can come up with.
That's awesome. And so that's going to be happening while, of course, we're in Legions Con next week and through the 15th. So if you're taking photos, or if you come by the Legions booth, the AWOC booth at Legions Con, you can see characters like this. But we'll be there, and we'll be selling the latest wave. Wave 4 is now shipping, so folks should be getting theirs. I think Thanos already got his. A bunch of folks already gotten theirs. They just started shipping Monday, and they're already in people's hands. But also, so all of that stuff will be there if you want to buy a figure or 2, take pictures, enter the contest. But in addition, we kind of went through this earlier on Adam Highly Articulated's channel, but we'll have the Paint Masters for Mamba that you see here at the table, Oxidus here, and Scathing for folks to kind of just take a look at and check out. We may or may not have check models of a little articulated, really, really early test figures that they put out and assemble to kind of like finish up tooling of the reptiles and the brawler figures, so the lion and the roid raged gorilla. So there'll be a couple of those things, as well as items to sell. We'll be there. Come by. We're trying to do like a photo of like AWOC folks and fans on Sunday. So just come by the table, say hello, and that's all I'll say about AWOC for today. Let's move on. I lied. What am I saying?
I was about to say liar.
Liar. Check this out.
How dare you say
Brian George, Endless Fables. It made these awesome faction flags that'll also be for sale for the first time at the booth as well. So
Nice.
those are going to be $20 for the set.
Very cool.
You'll get like you can set them up like this as a banner, or you can put it on. It comes with an additional sort of flagpole so that you can use this side to do kind of a traditional flag. They're totally wired, so you can pose them up for John's Emerald Night photos. Awesome dynamic photography. They're gorgeous. So come by for that. And then I'll stop talking about AWOC because
those flags actually caught my attention. The
oh yeah,
Seventh Kingdom Minotaurs each came with a flag that was that style.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, so I really like those. I might have to check those out too.
They're really well done. They're fantastic. And I'm a liar again because I forgot to say that Death Metal Dan or Dan Mitchell, who has probably produced a lot of the toys that you all have on your shelves right now, but happens to also sculpt for Spiro, is also going to be showing, or we will be showing some of his prototypes for the new Spiro Toys line, Bushido. So these will be there. I think one Paint Masters will be there, as well as some of the, depending on what they'll have. I'm sorry, they mentioned it earlier, but I was kind of in a daze. But you know, so there's additional things in addition to beyond Animal Warriors of the Kingdom that'll be there, as well as sculptor Arlen Pelletier and Adam from Highly Articulated's sort of new toy venture, Space Zombies from Mars. Did I get that right?
Mars.
Yeah.
Yes. Space Zombies from Mars.
Yeah. So there'll be a lot of cool stuff to check out at the Legions Con table by Spiro. So come by. But if I could bring it back a little. Cool. Come by. Actually, does anybody have anything else that you wanted to say about Spiro before? I was being shy and weird about it, but if anybody else wants to talk about Spiro and AWOC, let me know, or we can.
Man, I've been waiting to see. Sorry, Jay, go ahead.
I was just saying, don't make promises you can't keep, Rick. I think that's the rule here. Don't make promises you can't keep.
What are you gonna say, Az?
So I've been really excited to actually see in person the Raving, because they're going to be like Raven-esque bird, characters. And then on top of that, like their original color scheme was a little black and purple. And I may or may not be a Baltimore Ravens fan, so it totally speaks to me.
So you're talking Scathing, this guy, right? This guy?
Yes, Scathing. But in there's like specific one that was involved with the Kickstarter though that was called a Raving, or am I misremembering?
It's a completely different character called Raving.
Got it. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I'm excited for. Because again, just something about doing articulated winged. Well, Brick, we've always talked about anthropomorphic.
Oh yeah,
animal figures.
Yeah,
and like Jason's the king of it right now, right? Like he's doing stuff nobody's even come close to trying to attempt in the past, and I'm all for it. But also just like Bushido being there was big, because again, that was something they showed off at Legions Con. That was like, oh wow, I really want to see some more of that. Or I said Legions Con. It wasn't Legions Con though, that was PowerCon last year.
PowerCon.
And now finally getting to see that further along in the project, because everything was about like, the second Kickstarter for Spiro and, getting more of the AWOC out. Like I've been feeling a little lack of, what about that really great Bushido line you guys announced? Because I need some more samurais. I need some more martial artists. Got my tongue a little wet with all the great Sun Wukong figures that have come out over the last year. Now I want to see some more, and already with the articulation that is available with AWOC, can't wait to see what kind of articulation we can fit in this and work around with those armor pieces too.
Well, yeah, so Spiro's got a lot going on and, sort of Spiro adjacent. So there'll be plenty of opportunity if you come by Legions Con to hear about it. Those guys are super like open and want to talk to people who have questions about the toys. They love to answer every single question about every single animal that you want to see involved in Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. So please come with like 10 or 20 that you want to see made and let them know. But anyway, let's
I will say one thing though, one last thing about and so anybody that hasn't seen Adam highly articulated, he is very tall. So just so nobody's shocked, he is a very tall person. That shocked me when I saw him. When I saw him at Joe Fest
last time. Yeah, you said I heard you say that on a stream.
He is,
and I wasn't sure how serious you were.
I said it yesterday. I said it yesterday.
I was extremely shocked. I mean, Jay was right there. He walked. Adam walked through the door, and I'm just like, I recognize the face, but he is like, wow. I mean, but the same thing like Lawrence, though, right? Punk. I mean, you know, instead of looking up, you look down.
Punk is gigantic. Punk is huge, man.
Punk in his mind.
Yeah, but yeah, just
let me tell you.
So he says, I'm not that tall, and you all are short. And so just remind me, because Adam, he's not ashamed. So I hung out with Adam. We were eating ramen, so we were mostly sitting, but we stood up and well, maybe you'll think I'm tall too. I don't know.
Well, yeah, maybe Brick. Maybe you're tall.
Well, no, I was going to say, Brick, that makes me feel better because I know you and I are pretty close to the same height from our talks in the past. So if Adam doesn't seem that tall, then maybe I won't, but
I was just surprised when I heard you say
average.
That. When you said that, I was like, oh, really? Okay. Either way. That's fine.
Yeah,
no,
you tall people, man. Okay,
I know. Freaking bastards, man. I love freaking like when we were on a chat the other day with Adam. Ken walks in, right? Ken comes into the stream, and the first thing Adam says is, "You're short. You understand?" I'm like, "What the hell, Adam? What the hell's wrong with you?" So I said, "You know what, Adam? You're just freakishly tall. Okay, like screw you, man."
Okay, well, yeah. I just wasn't sure when you said that. I didn't know if maybe you were like seeing somebody else, or I don't know. But okay.
He's not freakishly tall. He's just tall.
No.
Like he's taller than like you know what it is though. And we talked about this on the stream. We're all in these little boxes. Okay,
yes,
we're all in these little boxes.
Yeah, we're like yay big.
Yeah, like we all like I met Wade of Unparalleled Universe. He's tall.
I can attest to the fact that man
tall,
is tall.
Man.
I've met him.
Yeah, right. But when he's on screen and he's lying back in his chair and he's like, oh yeah, of course everyone's like, geez, when you meet him, he's like, oh my god, this guy's freaking a giant, right? But we all look like you, Adam.
I've already told you that, Adam.
What's it like up there, Adam?
Yeah, that's a really good segue, though, for real. Like, so we've been talking about all this cool toy stuff, but at the end of the day, man, we've been able to hang out and talk about this thing that we love, toys, for a good amount of time now, and we haven't all shared the same space. And so that's what I'm absolutely looking forward to, the opportunity for us to kind of just like hang out and talk toys in real life, like say hello, and just share space in real life. So
yes.
And then we can get our whatever, our observations about each other's height and whatever it is. But I will say, okay, so here's the flip and here's the segue. Unfortunately, as we know, we won't necessarily be able to share space with everybody in our community that we've built relationships with, right? And so like on a serious tip, so Jay, we kind of mentioned that you were going to be at the Renders FX table. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the name Renders FX, you're probably familiar with the work, especially if, and we haven't mentioned this yet, Mega J is involved in the Flip Ore line. And if you're familiar with that, or if you're familiar with any of some of the stuff that was coming out to sort of conceptualize some of the Ramen Toys products recently, you're probably familiar with Renders FX work. He's a incredibly talented sculptor. What am I saying? If you've watched this show, you might have been familiar with him from this show, when I was able to sit down with him for a couple hours and just like be in awe of dude's spirit of, like you mentioned it, Jay, earlier, his like love for creativity, everything we've talked about tonight about the Four Horsemen and how they encourage people to be creative, man. He was like the poster child for that in our conversation. I just was so blown away. But unfortunately, he passed away not too long ago, this past month. And so, Jay, can you explain to folks, because you sort of mentioned that you're coming out, like you had planned to come to Legions Con, but can you share a little bit with the folks what exactly you'll be doing at Legions Con with Renders Effects sort of table?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mentioned a little earlier that I had no plans to. I was pretty much all conned out at this stage, right? And I hadn't actually planned to be at Legions Con, but
Mhm.
and it's tough because many of us talked with him just a week before.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It was
Mhm.
pretty crazy. Like he was so looking forward to it. He was so looking forward to the event. He was so looking forward to meeting people who he'd only ever known online.
Yep.
And of course, he was looking forward to seeing many of us again. He'd met, through the toy community, through conventions and everything, and now he's gone. And that because I really got to know him and I got to meet him several times. We joke a lot, myself and John and many of us, that he continued to stalk me every time I came to the United States. I mean, like that was that was our joke. That was our actual joke. We because every single convention I went to, he was there.
Yeah.
And it's not like he was there and it was easy for him to get to. No, he drove like 4 or 5 hours in cases just to be at the convention. Now,
Mhm.
it wasn't for me. I'll put it that way. He was going there for the Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
That's why we made a joke of it that it was me, but no, the reality is he was there for the Four Horsemen. He was such a fan. He was such a fan of the Four Horsemen. He was such a fan of their work, that he would literally track down every exclusive that he could, and he would not miss out on it. His entire collection is massive. Like he has every single, like one or double or triple of many of the Four Horsemen's work, because he loved to kit bash. He loved to create, and it was the Four Horsemen that inspired him to start sculpting action figures. For those of you who don't know, Ryan Endersby, Renders Effects, he really cut his teeth in sculpting as a prosthetics designer. Statues, masks. That was his field of study. After serving, I believe it was in the Air Force. And you know what? He really honed his craft. Creating masks and designing. So it was that spark of creativity and idea that really brought us together. You know what I mean? Like after Mad Hatter decided to make a joke out of Flipor, he actually literally sculpted a Flipor overnight by himself, right? And it was around that same time we were thinking about making a Flipor with Robin Toy, and again it was just destiny, right? Like we all came together and we created something absolutely thrilling, absolutely amazing. But at the heart of that, Hatter would literally create a Flipor, but the one who sculpted it was Ryan. It was all of his great work. And Flipper would not exist if it wasn't for Ryan Endersby. And for me, when I heard about his passing, it was a shock. It was a shock to all of us. And I think that a lot of us who when we finally broke the news after speaking to his wife Erin and everybody, I think that everybody in the community felt, it was just crazy, right? He was just a Jolanta, you know what I mean? Like it was just crazy. So after hearing the news, after processing it and trying to understand in my own way what happened, I remembered. I was like, he has a table at Legions Con. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna see if it's still there. I'm gonna see if it's still available, and if it is, then I'm just gonna bring whatever we have from Flipboard right now, from the project, which he literally put his entire passion into. Right, he worked so hard on this project. You guys have no idea, like sleepless nights. And I want to show everybody what he's been able to create. And I think that as a tribute, and that's exactly what this is. This is a tribute to Reiner and the friends he's made, and the people who he was able to reach with his amazing work. And I want to show him I want to show everybody the fruits of his labor, right? Because this was his baby. This was his passion. He made Flipboard a reality. You know what I mean? And it's just people need to see what he's done, right? And so this was a last minute trip, and I just had no idea I was even going. So like I said, this is all just last minute. So I'm planning on heading to Virginia first. So this is going to be a long trip. I'm heading to Virginia first to meet up with his wife, Erin. Give some support, but also hopefully pick up some of his masks that he did, and his helmets, and some prototypes of figures that he's made, so that you can see the variety of the work that he did when he was when he was active, right? And then of course I will be bringing something like Flipboard prototypes and things like that to show everybody, packaging design, all that great stuff. But it's just a celebration of Ryan's life. You know what I mean? Like, for those of us who knew him, it's a great time to swap stories and really talk about, everything that we knew about Ryan. And for anybody who doesn't really know about Ryan, you're going to learn about Ryan. You're going to learn about what he did, how he made these things, what his passions were, right? And I hope you'll see that Ryan was just the most amazing guy. You know what I mean? Like, he would not stop at a project, right? The projects that he made were absolutely incredible, and he had a great sense of humor. He loved horror. You know what I mean? And it really does show, right? It really does show what one man is capable of, and he was incredibly talented, right? And for everybody, the Flipboard figures that are being created, they're all dedicated to Ryan N.E.W.S. Like, you'll like when you receive your Flipboard figures, you'll find a dedication in the comic book, as well as a write up of everything. And the team is just we're all very, we still can't believe it. We're still processing this, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you can see his sculpt work, his clay work that he did. Again, it's just incredible, right? And
he is extremely
incredibly
talented, and just was super positive. Like, I remember when I was traveling this summer, I got to catch him on Oz's channel in the clubhouse, and I believe I don't know who else was in there, but I just remember him really just encouraging people. There was somebody in there who was like, "Oh, I don't really have any talent. I can't do it. I tried it." And he was like, "No, man, you just got to do it and just give it a shot. This is where I started." And I just kept trying and trying. And, as a teacher, like, I was just like, yeah, he gets it. Like, that's how you learn. Like, so much of our blocks to learning and growing is from us telling ourselves that we can't do it. And he was all about it, wanted to encourage people, was down to be a resource. And, when I got to sit down with him for the show, like, it was so cool to hear about his history with masks and everything, and just sort of like his real, like, fun journey, I guess, to getting into this stuff. And I don't know, I just really appreciated him so much, and it totally shocked me as well. And I'm just still kind of just processing it, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity to spend some time on the show in context, and really be like, okay, hey, this is let's talk about it. We lost someone in our community who was incredibly talented, whose work continues, and we'll be able to enjoy his work in the years to come via what you all are doing with Flipboard. But then also just what you're doing to make sure he still has a presence at the con, I think is really cool. And then, as you said, you're heading down to Virginia to connect with folks where he was, his family and everything. And I think it's great. So, and just for this opportunity to spend a little bit of time here today, and then also a little bit at Legions Con to kind of just process a little and continue the grieving process. So I appreciate that you're doing this, man.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate everybody who's helped me out with this. John, Brick, Oz, everybody who's contributed to help me get down there, because this has been this is a last minute thing. Like, I wanted to go to Legions Con someday. You know what I mean? So it was always this someday project, right? It was always I'll head there next year, or like, it's just that after going through so many different events, right? From San Diego is just a beast, as you know, Brick. I mean, like it's an absolute slog. You are exhausted after San Diego. You know what I mean? And then going to Joe Fest, and also just doing Fan Expo here in Canada. John, you'll probably know Fan Expo Texas and other places like that. And the I guess is it Austin? I think it's Austin, right? Anyway, those big megacons are just ridiculously exhausting, right? So, going through two of them and three of them here in Toronto, it's just you kind of get conned out at the end of the year, right? And the only reason you really go to cons anymore is to meet friends. You know what I mean? Like this event here, this Legions Con event, is because everyone becomes friends at Legions Con. It's my understanding that the community is the real reason why you go. You don't like. Of course, you go to see the exclusives. Of course, you go to see the awesome new toys that are there. But the real reason you go is because you want to reconnect with the friends who you've made over the years, and in some cases, meet friends you've made online, and all of a sudden, you actually are friends in real life, right? And then for whatever reason, they say the same thing every single time. Jay, you're the exact same guy you are on camera that you are in real life. I'm like, this is not changing. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why people would change, right? So it's always great to meet somebody in real life. And COVID took that away from us for a while, but and this is just another way to reconnect and rekindle those friendships. And now it's another way to remember people who have gone before us. You know what I mean? And as I said in my post when I first happened, he's gone on to a better place. But as long as we remember him, he'll never be forgotten. And that's exactly what we're doing. Oh, that's right. That's true. So we'll have a QR code for the fundraising for Ryan to support his family, his two girls. We've already raised $6,820. So thank you to everyone who's already sent what they can. You guys are incredible. We're very close to the 8,000 goal, and I'm hoping that with Legion's Con we'll be able to get another boost on that, and hopefully get a little bit more, because again, unfortunately they no longer have Ryan to support them. So this is it's just another way to show support. So I'll have a QR code ready at the table, and I hope you guys will be able to take a look and learn more about Ryan's life, and and for everybody else, just come. We'll talk about it. We'll just have some fun.
And if you can't go to the thing, if you can't go to Legion's Con, follow his Instagram. Check out. You can go back in time and you can kind of see he goes through all of it, and you can see his earliest sculpts and his stuff with masks and makeup. And so it's a great just like you can track his journey, his creativity, everything that he's done, his output. I remember talking to him about this thing, and just like he just stayed up. He started sculpting and then got so into the idea, he stayed up all night till he finished it and figured out articulation. And anyway, just I would say go back, check out his Instagram, and sort of get to know a little bit about his life, his work. And then if you're at Legion's Con, stop by the table. Mega J will be there. Would love to talk to you about Ryan's work. You'll have some prototype stuff from the Flipboard project. So, yeah. So, thank you, Jay. I really appreciate.
No, thank you guys. Thank you guys for, sharing a moment, right? And again, I'd like to share more moments with you guys at the show.
100%.
Yep.
Anyway, I know that's like we're toys. We like to talk about fun stuff, but the we can't ignore the fact that we lost a member of our community last month, and and I'm really glad. Again, Legion's Con is going to be special for many reasons, including the fact that we'll have the opportunity to honor Renders and sort of like fulfill, I guess, that thing. I know he wanted to go to Legion's Con. I know that he talked a lot about that on our episode together about how much the Four Horsemen meant to him. So I'm glad. So anyway, do what you do, folks. Honor Renders however you will. Look at his IG, pour one out if that's what you do. Send thoughts of the universe, pray. But for him, his family, and maybe just appreciate what he was able to do, all that he was able to do and offer us with his creativity, with his talent, with his skill. So the rest of us can, have some awesome toys to enjoy. And so, hey, I appreciate you all, because that's ultimately what this is about. This conversation, even about Ryan, is just like, we've made friends through this thing that we love, man. And so we're going to be coming together at this hub in New Jersey because the Four Horsemen have created this world for us that we all love, and we're going to be there. I can't wait to meet you all in person. Do the daps, do the hugs, do whatever it is you do. Anyways, I'm looking forward to it. Real quick, I know I'm going to be there Wednesday. When's everyone coming in? You sort of said it along the way, but just let's go around real quick.
Last time we did this, I got bummed out on Let's Go Off-World because I found out I'm getting in like the latest.
When we're there, enjoy. Don't worry about
it. Yeah. I will be there Friday. I'm hoping to get there like early afternoonish. I want to get checked into the hotel, drop my bag off, and then check in with all you beautiful people and see where you're at. So,
cool.
Yeah, I get in Friday, probably around 4 o'clock, 5ish, maybe around that time frame. So I think my flight lands around after 3. So take an Uber from I get in Newark Airport, I believe, and then heard kind of some things about it from people actually in Jersey. But yeah, I go from there and then go to get to the Marriott. So and then go to my room and then just hang out in the lobby or see where everyone's at. And
cool. Yeah, we'll connect. Joe?
I'll arrive at Newark Airport Thursday morning at like 7 a.m. I wanted to give myself an extra day to get settled in and comfortable and hang out a little bit before the festivities really start. So, So I'll be at the hotel hopefully around noon or so on Thursday.
Jay?
That's going to be an interesting day. I'm going to be.
When are you leaving out, Jay?
Yes,
let's start with that leg of the journey. When are you leaving?
So
Joe Fest,
I'm leaving Friday morning at midnight.
Okay.
I'm leaving Friday morning at midnight. Hopefully, get to Virginia by 10 a.m.
Right.
And thank God Danny's coming with me because I'm not going to be able to drive, 8 hours by myself.
Yeah.
Like that's
nice.
And remember what I was telling you too about the travel time. Check your routes.
I'm going to keep checking. Trust me, we're going to look for extra. Whenever that little alert says, "Oh, you can save 10 minutes by going," I'm going to be making that U-turn or whatever it is that I need to do to save. Trust me, even 5 or 10 minutes, it makes a difference. So we're going to visit with Aaron, his wife, and support for a little bit. Maybe talk and see how she's doing, and talk about how everything's going and everything like that, and then pick up a few things. Actually, we're gonna try and pick up some sculptures. We're gonna try and pick up some of the stuff you just saw. Hopefully, most of it hasn't been packed away yet. So we're going to try and pick up some helmets, some sculptures, some things like that, and some other prototypes. I don't think he was able to get the Halloween prototype out, which would have been awesome to see, but I don't think we're going to get one of those. But we're going to see is whatever she can provide, we're going to try and bring it along. And then another 4 hours over to New Jersey. So we're crossing our fingers. We'll be there between 5 and 6 in the evening. That will be the goal. I hope, we'll check in, and I hope that we don't crash because I would like to actually, come down and see you guys and see everybody. Feel free to knock on my hotel room. Just wake me up, whatever it is. But I would love to see you guys and hang out for a little bit. It should be fine. I mean, between me and Danny, we should be okay. It's just you never know, right? But barring anything else that happens, we should be there around that time on Friday. And then because the table is in the hallway, I won't be able to set up that night. I'll be setting up on Saturday, and then every night we'll just bring it back to the hotel room just in case.
Down.
It's all personal stuff
because it's in the hallway.
So I'll let you guys know when I pass Jay on the road. I'll like take a picture and flip him off and laugh.
I will have a QR code where people can scan and donate to the GoFundMe if anybody's interested. And
nice.
The banner I'm making for the event, people are welcome to sign it, as a memorial. And we're going to make this into a tribute to Ryan Erdisby, Renders Effects. So it's
wonderful.
Somebody has to remind me to bring some silver pens because that's the only thing. I always forget this. But,
I will do my best, Jay.
But I'm excited.
Even if I got to pick it up on the way.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see all you guys. I'm excited to reconnect with all you guys. Brick, Joe, would love to. Really excited to meet you too. John, Oz, really excited to meet you guys. See you guys again, as always. And pizza's on me, so we'll figure that out. All right?
You heard it.
I heard you know how to make friends.
Yeah. We got to try and find a Zaxby's or a Raising Cane's.
What the fuck are you talking about? Seriously.
Or Crystals. Actually, White Castle. Right? We'll be a little bit north or something.
We ended up finding, what was it, Crystal? We went to
Crystal, yeah.
Yeah, we went to Crystal. We want to go to the authentic White Castle. I want to find out what Raising Cane's is. What the hell are you talking about? All right, I don't know.
Apparently, a sauce is what I've heard.
Like, Rick, do you know what Raising Cane's is? I don't even know what the hell he's.
I don't know, but I have a feeling we're going to find out in the after party after this stream. So let's go ahead and close it out for tonight. But seriously, I appreciate you all sharing the sort of first time. Yep. Let's throw it out to Adam. Sure, this is the 40-year-old Virgins to Legions Con stream officially ending.
Right.
Hopefully, we'll see a bunch of you all who, if you are going, actually, please leave a message in the chat. Let us know. I'd love to connect when we're there too. Just want to get a sense of who all is going to be there. And Jay mentioned the GoFundMe. If you follow the QR code or that link that's popping up at the bottom of the screen right now, you'll get to the links, and that link to the GoFundMe for Ryan's and Renders Effects GoFundMe will be there too. All right, folks, let's go ahead and close it out. I hope everybody has a great week. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. I know that was a lot of stuff, but we can continue the conversation in person. How about that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't be afraid to come and say hi if you see me around the con. I love the toys, but the main reason I'm going is for the people. Don't be afraid to say hello.
Yep.
You know what? I'd be remiss. I'm sorry. We should go around and say, like, where can folks find you all, and what should they do before before we break out? What do you folks got going on? Let's go and start with Joe. Joe, what do you got going on? I know you're on several channels.
Yeah. I do. Friday is the Let's Go Off-World podcast with those guys over there. On YouTube, and then whenever I can, I'm on Oz's show on Saturday night, and those are the only two mainstays. And then anywhere else anybody asks me to be, I try to be there. So
cool.
Yeah,
he's a legendary DM as well. And we've been talking about Mythic Legions. You want to mention that real quick?
Yeah. I can't believe I forgot that.
Yeah.
A Legion's Quest. Now that's on the Let's Go Off-World podcast YouTube channel, but I do a Legion's Quest with Jesse Arnold, Curtis Ackerman, Nate Strong, and Trevor Williams, the official photographer for the Four Horsemen Studios. So if you guys like D&D and want to see a bunch of noobs clumsily stumble their way through it, we're having a great time with that. So
and be guided by a not so noob. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a little bit experienced, and Jesse has experience. He's been role playing for about 10 years, but it's a good time. A lot of unexpected things happen when there's new people to the game. They're not as cautious as a lot of experienced players. So I'm really enjoying that aspect. We're having a lot of fun.
Right on. Mega J, what you got going on? We all know what you got going on.
Honestly, brother, it's like everything's happening. Being on awesome shows like this, guys, definitely subscribe to Bit Something here. Subscribe to Author and Toy. Subscribe to Emma Live Photo over on Instagram. And Joe, do you have a social media presence, or you're just doing your thing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm Joe G Customs on Instagram. That's the only place that I really post with any regularity. I'm a co-host on the Let's Go Off-World podcast. It's not my channel, but I'm there. So yeah, if you help the channel, you help me. So
there you go. So subscribe to all these wonderful creators. They're awesome. And I hope to see everybody at Legions Con in about 5 days. What am I working on? I'm working on a whole bunch of stuff, but it never really comes to fruition until something happens. But I got a couple of things on the go. Right now, I'm just actually trying to gather my thoughts about what to bring for the show. I'm having a banner printed up, as I just mentioned. Hopefully, everybody who wants to, you can sign it, right? Just remember the day. Just trying to figure out how I'm going to get there. Trying to raise some funds to actually get. This was so unexpected, so I'm just trying to raise some money. And thank you guys, thank you Brick, thank you Oz, thank you John for contributing. You guys are freaking awesome, of course. Thank you. And I know times are tough, so this is just one of those things. I really, really do appreciate it, and whatever I can do to help anybody that helps me, I'm always down. You guys know that. But forget about that. Other than that, subscribe to Brick, subscribe to Oz, subscribe to John, of course, subscribe to Joe. These guys are working hard and having fun at the same time. So you guys should just subscribe to all these guys. Yeah, forget about it.
Don't forget to subscribe to Mega J too. If for somehow you're not already,
I don't know.
Make sure you subscribe to Mega J. Make sure you subscribe to MJR Collector. Don't forget to plug yourself, man.
What is that? Who's that guy? I don't know that guy.
Who's that? How about you, Oz?
Well, I mean, I'd hope most people in the chat can recognize me and know where to find me. But in case you don't, Ostradamus Toys on IG, the Ostradamus Toys channel on YouTube. You catch me once a month on Thursday nights at Skelevator's channel on The Frenzy. Catch me every other Friday on Let's Go Offworld 2.0. And just about every single Saturday night, you can catch me and many of these other fine gentlemen hanging out in the clubhouse as we spend some time kidulting, because adulting sucks and we all know it. You always got to free the plastic from that cardboard prison. So you guys can find me there.
Awesome, Oz. And John, tell us about the Geek Out Clique. Ika.
So, remember when I have photos? So pretty much just doing tour photography on Instagram, but I do have a show with my fellow Geeked Out Clique brothers, Geeked Out Live every Tuesday night. And some of us will be, also meeting for the first time in person.
Nice.
A couple of them are going to be going to Legions Con. So yeah, that's going to be exciting to hang out with those guys, those crazy guys. Also, yes, I'm also gonna be taking part in the AWOC, the Battle for the Kingdom, the tournament, or try and get in the tournament. Let's just say that. And then also the Toy League Takeover. They're doing a Toy November photography contest as well. So every day for the month of November, that they have a certain prompt, and just you follow that prompt and take a picture, and yeah, they're gonna have some prizes and some fun stuff with that. So yeah, just pretty much be taking photos. Can't wait for Legions Con and meet you amazing people. Brick, I'm going to bring my tape measure because you said if you're going to be that tall, I want to see how you measure against Adam. So, just looking forward to it, man.
Well, Brick's perfect hair gives him like another inch and a half.
Yeah.
This is where I play music and I make it real loud. Have a great night, folks. Why don't I do something like this? Look, see, doesn't that make me look professional? Look,
so professional.
Your logo,
nice.
Right, the date's right. Damn, skills. Hope everybody has a great week. I'm ending the stream now. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Night.